All right, guys, July is coming to a close. We're about to cross over into the second month of Q3. All right, let's talk about the fundamentals we got this weekend. Let's tie in the technicals. Let's roll the intro. Traders, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Monday market breakdown. It's your boy Cleveland. Hope you guys are having an awesome start to the week. It is U.S. session. Markets are not quite open yet. It's 8 o'clock. All right, so markets are somewhat quiet. We're getting a little bit of a weak move right now on this US dollar relative to the euro, thinking that's because of some things happening with Italy. Okay, so we're going to get into it. All right, so guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome, folks. I'm happy to have you guys here. If you guys have been here before, welcome back. All right, let's go into the fundamentals, and then we're going to tie into the technicals a little bit here too as well. All right, so we are going to go into the charts a little bit later on. So just to give you guys a quick update. All right, so we did hit off Friday with a 4.1% GDP. Now, again, that sounds ridiculous, and it somewhat is, but that was actually, you know, a little bit under, really right at that expected number. Okay, so we didn't see markets move too much, even though that's a really good number. It was already priced in. Okay, this US dollar has a lot of shit already priced in, and so that's why we're really not getting the moves. You know, even though this positive information is coming out, we're not getting the moves that you think you would see. Here's a quick screenshot, for example, of the dollar index. You guys can see there isn't much movement. All right, we've been holding these highs for quite some time. There's a lot of sell side, there's a lot of downside opportunity in case the dollar starts to tinker over a bit, or this euro starts to bring in a lot of strength. Remember, the euro is 53% of that dollar index, so any kind of euro strength will sit that dollar index back sell side. Okay, but then again, there is some upside as well. But instead of looking at the dollar index, here's a quick screenshot of the euro. You guys can see that from a monthly perspective, we can hit back down on these $14s. That will be right around a 50% retracement level. And for the past 3 or 4 weeks, you know, I've been saying, hey, I do think that we will see a test of the dollar, basically the $18s, or breakout of the $18s before we see a breakout of these $15 flats. Okay, and I'm still moving with that precipice. The only thing is, this week we have a lot of information, all right, in regards to this US dollar. We obviously have unemployment. We have NFP. NFP, we're looking at 193,000 jobs added. We'll touch back on that on Wednesday or Thursday, a day before the actual announcement, to see where we're at. But again, we have a lot of information now, and that's just some of the stuff. We have average hourly earnings. We'll get into the fundamentals a little bit later on this week once that stuff comes up. There isn't so much happening today. Monday, we have consumer confidence tomorrow for the U.S., assuming consumer confidence is going to be again at all-time highs. Right now, U.S. is very optimistic about the outlook of the economy, so we're going to have to zero in exactly and see, okay, is there some movement left for this U.S. dollar to push back sell side, to gain some more U.S. dollar strength? Because if that is the case, we will see another retest of the $15s. Now, last week, I mentioned something in regards to a Euro USD trade idea where I said, hey, I do not like buying up here at these highs. We might have to take a breakout. I'm talking about this structure here. Here's a quick screenshot of the Euro USD on the daily. All right. I didn't like buying up here at these $17 mids. Okay. I felt like, hey, maybe if we can get a pullback down into structure, maybe we can start taking some buys down there in that price area. And that's exactly where we're at right now. So it's like, all right, you know, are we going to actually start committing to some Euro USD longs? I don't know. Here's a quick view of what I mentioned last week. Take a look. All right, if I want to take a break right around this price area here, okay, well then what that means is my stops are going to have to be way down here, potentially at the 15s. You know, maybe I'll get away with my stops being right there at the 16 lows, 15 highs. But if I get a pull back down into structure, my idea is still long, then I'm just getting a better price. Right now, I can maybe start to put some size on its position back down in the 16 mids, only to see markets have a retest of this price area here, which is the 17 highs, right? So basically, I would want to see markets, again, they've already sold off. They've already pulled back up into structure here. I would like to see markets now hit around in these price areas, close around in these price areas, and then break outside of that structure. Okay, so again, we pulled back down into that structure. I do not like taking breakouts on that 23.6. All right, especially if the structure of the entire move in itself seems a little weak. If I think that volatility can whip us back down into the mids of that structure, taking a breakout, folks, is going to put you in some drawdown situations that you may not want to be in, right? It may be a false break, pull back down on the structure. And again, we never even really got a false break. We just got a straight pull back down into structure. So again, we avoided some drawdown there in that instance. But now it's all about, okay, well, we have a lot of US data coming out this week. There's a lot of positive US data that market participants are looking for. Are we going to get more sell side back down in the structure? Are we going to hit back off in these $15s? all this kind of shit. So now that's what I'm focusing on. I'm like, okay, holy cow, what is this market going to look like? I am going to let Monday kind of pass over a bit. I don't think I'm going to miss too much in terms of price movement. I don't think too many people are going to be pricing things in, but right now the structure I'm looking at is the $1.17s. If I get a break of that $1.17, might start putting on small size and taking that thing back up into structure. All right. Now, again, that's if this US dollar data comes out and isn't so surprising, isn't so much better. Like if right now, again, we're looking at 193,000 jobs added. I'm hoping we don't get 220. You know, I hope we don't get 230. Last NFP, we got 213. NFP before that, we got 223. Okay. And again, both beat expectations, and the expected for those months were both 195 and the other one like somewhere in the 180s. All right. So again, if that same thing happens, then we may see a tidbit of US dollar strength, which is going to kill off on this buy side Euro USD idea. Might start to see more volatility within that $1.16, $1.15 range. We won't get that direction move that we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to be talking about it a little bit more, guys, in our trading community. Guys, click the link down in the bio if you guys want to join in regards to what we see, all right, for the rest of the week on this Euro USD. Now, also last week had some ideas for that Euro CHF. Okay, Euro CHF was also looking sell side. Euro overall, folks, Euro's off the highs. All right, if you look at the Euro in general, it's off the highs on the CAD, on the JPY. JPY's brought in a lot of strength this year. It is finally, we're seeing Euro GBP start to trade back up into structure because of so much GBP weakness. But even outside of that, before that started happening, Q1, Q2, Euro was off the highs from for the pound as well. So when I saw the Euro CHF and I saw that structure, I said, hey, there might be a decent buy opportunity here, but all right, it's another situation where I didn't want to start immediately just buying at where the market currently was. I thought we could get a better price if we saw markets short back down, and that's actually what happened. I want to roll that footage real quick, show you guys where that Euro CHF was and where we are right now. And again, is this thing ready to start buying up? A little bit of Euro data this week. Okay, here, take a quick look at that. Hopefully we can get markets to maintain this price area here. Worst case scenario, markets trade all the way back down into the 1550s. Now, again, that is something I am keeping an eye on. But if you get markets to trade back down into these 1550s, then that would probably be the best place to start looking for buys. All right, so that CHF still consolidated down here in these lows. Here's a quick screenshot. All right, so is that thing going to start popping back up into structure? We have a lot of Euro fundamental data that's been dropping. Italian referendum situation, Italy wanting to leave the European Union. That's kind of smoothed over a bit. All right, that happened. The talks on that happened earlier this weekend. Okay, there's been a little tick up in Euro productivity. So there's a lot more, I guess, consumer buying, retail sales ticking up a little bit. I saw some PMIs, purchasing manager index. I saw that ticking up as well. German retail sales ticking up as well. Germany, #1 economy inside the entire European Union. Euro has so much upside. You guys got to think. These guys are still doing QE. These guys have a 0% interest rate. Okay. Look, there is more upside for that Euro in regards to the US dollar. So nevertheless, most analysts and even myself at the end of this year, I'm thinking we're going to hit back off at least on the $1.18s. We could easily see that Euro back off in the $1.20s, especially if we continue to see Euro productivity ticking up. Okay, so again, when do we start that trade? We have 6 months until the end of the year. Where do we actually start executing those buys? All right. Again, these macro markets are dominated by micro events, right? So it's a timing element to it as well, folks. That's why you guys got to stay plugged in. Okay. So guys, look, I talked a lot. I want to head over into the charts. I want to show you guys what I'm looking at. There's about 5 or 6 setups that I like this week. Okay, if you guys got any questions, again, comment down below. I'm excited to answer. Make sure you guys, if you want to join the Top Trader community, click the link in that bio. We'll be right here, and like the video for your boy. All right. Hey, look, I'm going to pull over into the charts. Let me guys know if you have any questions. All right, guys, I'm going to run through these charts real quick. A lot of you guys complain, man, get to the charts, man. What the fuck are you doing? Relax. All right. Look, it takes some time. I got to prep you. I feel like I got a lot of things to allude to before I start just zeroing in on these things. All right. So just let me do my spiel, and then we'll move over. Okay, look, let's take a look here on the weekly structure. We just showed you guys some screenshots. Remember, last week, what were we looking like? We were looking somewhat like this. All right, so I saw markets up here in these structural highs. I said, okay, I need markets to sell back down off into these structures, and maybe we can start taking some buys. And we sold off. Not dramatically, though. We didn't really sell off the way I thought we wanted to, okay, but we sold off. And so right now we're seeing a 0.2 move, so not too much of a dominant move. This is just intraday. You never look at an active candle. We don't play that game, all right? You could easily see some volatility wick us back down into these $1.16s because, again, there's so much positive outlook right now for this US dollar, and decent amount, okay, a more than decent amount of that information is coming in this week. With tomorrow, consumer confidence. All right. So again, yeah, today, right now, dollar, 16.80s. Of course, we could be up here in this price area, but are we going to break $1.17? Is that when that consumer confidence number comes out? If it's amazing, are we not going to trade a little bit back down into these structures? All right. So basically, what I'm saying is, if you wanted to look for, some sell side opportunities for this Euro U on an intraday basis, hey, you might have something here. Maybe we start consolidating around, 4 o'clock. Aussie session, and then, Euro session, again, potentially consolidating. Not too much happening on the Euro on Tuesday, so that may lead to more consolidation. Boom, consumer confidence comes out, we start to spill over. All right, so that's something that we potentially can see, happen here. Now, can consumer confidence come out horrible and markets break to the upside? And basically, all you have to start doing at that point is put on some small size, and you really missed a decent buying opportunity. And since you weren't buying down here in these lows, you got to start putting on smaller size up here in these highs. I mean, that's the way you should be doing it from a money management perspective. Then, yeah, that may be the situation. But consumer confidence, folks, has been coming out pretty positively. And, again, I think that will start. I think the same thing is going to start happening. So I don't want to look too far forward. That's what I'm looking at. Let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, we see markets trade potentially back down into these structures. Now, after that, we have a few more things coming out. We have ADP, non-farm payroll, coming out on Wednesday. And then, of course, we got Friday, NFP, and all the things that come along with it. That's what I'm saying, folks. We can see this thing push back sell side, and just continue to consolidate inside of these $17s, $16s, $15 mids. Before we finally get that breakout. All right. So basically, I'm saying maybe one more week of U.S. dollar strength. Maybe one more week of U.S. dollar strength. Now, again, I want to sell this thing. I want to buy this thing up. But it's the fundamental data this week that's telling me, hey, look, you got to be careful. Lots of volatility. Might need to wait it out a bit before you start looking for some buys. And if the buys come in, hey, take a little breakout. Start putting on some size. If the momentum stays, maybe we can start putting on some more size up here in these $17 highs. We have a long ways to go up until maybe the $19s, maybe those $18s. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so that's that Euro U. Let's kill these things off. I have some more ideas. Kyler hit me up a little bit earlier today. He said, hey, man, I like that NZD USD. Again, I like the NZD USD too. I like it for US dollar weakness. I love the way it looks from a structural perspective. But I'm scared of the fundamentals this week. They're definitely going to impact our markets, all right? So, again, looking at it right now, we're still underneath a 23.6 fib. That means this move is very, very accelerated. We are down here at the lows of 2018, okay? 2017 as well. Take a look at that, all right? So, again, if we get more U.S. dollar strength, we will finally be breaking down towards those lows. This is what we're looking like from a monthly perspective. All right, this is what our monthly is looking like. We broke out last month. We broke out of this entire range that we've been in since 2016. All right, and that's again massively because of the China trade war stuff going on and the U.S. dollar just gaining a lot of strength because hey, the economy's pulling ahead a bit. All right, inflation's back. All these different things, GDP, retail sales, all these numbers are coming out pretty positively. Okay, so that's what's broke us outside of this structure, but a continuation of this productivity idea and a continuation of these Chinese trade war scenarios, it's not the most positive outlook right now for the NZDU. From a technical perspective, of course, you're like, hey, we're at the low. Let's start potentially buying back up. But from a fundamental perspective, we got to keep an eye on it, all right? So, again, I want to see the dollar potentially start to sell off. I think we saw a lot of pricing in of the dollar over the past, few months or so, okay? Maybe we get a little bit of a dollar weakness. But the fact that it's correlated with this NZD, hey, I'm not looking too positively at what's happening with the NZD right now. Okay, so if you want to play some dollar weakness, we'll definitely not play with the NZD because the NZD is not looking too good itself. But from a technical perspective, it's not bad. It's not bad. Now I wanted to run over to the CAD because the CAD is another scenario. If I pull this up here on the weekly perspective, I like the CAD as well, and CAD has some pretty big data coming out this week as well, folks. Canada is primed potentially to start to hit back off on this 50% retracement level. This is something that I'm looking for. All right, it's pretty simple. That's the technicals. It's all about getting the directional bias with the fundamentals. If you have a quick view on the technicals and say, hey, I would love to take it to this level, that's the kind of trade that you want to play. The harder it is to try to figure out exactly what you want to do from a technical perspective, all that means is you're playing in a bunch of shit, right? That means you're just playing in a bunch of nasty consolidation and you don't really have a solid idea as to what where you want markets to go, or even how to, have certain take profits or stops, right? But again, markets, the charts here for this CAD are pretty clean. And the cleanliness of these charts are telling me, hey, if CAD has a good week this week, we might be able to sell this thing back off into the $50s. If the US dollar turns around and ends up, killing it this week, okay, well then basically it was potentially a decent buy opportunity here at this 38.2. But again, that's the situation I'm in right now. Maybe we just get consolidation, because if the US dollar gains strength and the Canadian dollar gains strength, then we're going to sit right here in the middle. I want to sell off this dollar. I would love to buy the CAD up. I wish this week's data wasn't so heavy, but it is. All right, so again, maybe we do see a little sell side participation. If the US dollar wants to do its thing, we won't see it so much. But if you think the Canadian dollar is going to do well this week, then we can start playing that on some of the CAD crosses. We'll go over that in just a second. That's what I'm looking at right now, folks, for our US dollar crosses. I'm not eyeing too much. I'm looking at the CAD. I'm looking at the NZD, just because the structure is pretty interesting. And of course, I'm keeping an eye out over here on this Euro USD. Here's a quick screen view of that dollar index if you guys want to take a look at it. All right, here you go. Again, consolidating up here at these highs from the low to the high. From the low to the high, we're still maintaining a very accelerated move. Is there another leg left for the dollar, right? Is there another leg left for the dollar? That is what, I am keeping my eye on, okay? And folks, I'm not tilted towards more dollar strength, especially being the fact that the euro is so heavily dominated with the dollar index. Man, euro just has so much upside. It's just all about, when is that upside going to start coming to fruition? Okay, remember this video. Remember I said it. Euro upside, it's going to happen. This Euro USD is going to be back in those $17s, $18s eventually. It's just about how much it can sustain. All right, Euro CHF. Keeping an eye on this Euro CHF. We're winding down here, folks. Don't want to hold you too long. It's pretty simple stuff. Euro CHF, remember, we sold back down into the structure as we thought. Okay, but now it's all about, hey, did we sell off enough to where we have a good buy side opportunity? And I would have loved to have seen markets go down into these these $1.15 60s. All right, that was where we wanted to see markets trade back down into these structures. Okay, again, markets can fool you a bit and make you think, hey, we're resting on top of support right here at this massive consolidation. But for me, I'm like, volatility could whip us back down into these areas here. Okay, and that's exactly what we got. Notice we broke that structure, all right, that little intermediary structure, and we sold back off into these levels. But can we sustain? So we may see consolidation around this price area until we get that euro strength to potentially start to come on in the next few weeks or so of August, or we start to see that CHF start to potentially sell off. All right, that's what I'm looking at there, folks. I'm winding down here. Euro AUD, last but not least. It's a pretty interesting situation right now from a weekly perspective. Take a look at that here. Let me clean the charts off so you guys can see what's going on. Look at that. Look how markets are really flattening up here at these highs. Now, why is that happening? Well, again, we're seeing a lot of euro weakness, right? But we're also seeing a lot of Aussie weakness, folks. And so since we're seeing Aussie weakness and euro weakness, what happens? Boom, consolidation. No one's buying, no one's selling, or if both people are selling, markets are not going to move. All right, these markets move independently of each other. Okay, you don't look at the Euro AUD and think one thing, but then look at the Euro GBP and think something completely different. The fact that the Euro is tied to that pair, you have to assess what's happening with the Euro economy. All right, a lot of people like to treat each chart differently. That's what technical analysts do. They'll say, okay, I want to buy this or I want to sell this, and they'll be talking about two pairs with potentially the same economy in it. That's a bad idea. All right, we're tied right now. For this Euro AUD, we're tied up because of Aussie weakness, and we're tied up because of Euro weakness. I can show you all the currency correlations for the Aussies. I can show you all the cross-currency correlation for the Euro. You will see Aussie weakness, and you will see Euro weakness. So when you go to the Euro AUD, what do you see? Nothing, okay? So what do we need to see here? We need to see some Euro strength, potentially, to see this market break back down in the structure, or we need to continue to see China trade craziness, because that is why this Australian dollar has been weakening so dramatically. China is Australia's biggest trading partner. All right, so again, when you see so much, dismay happening in China, that affects the Australian economy. Exports start to, weaken a bit. Confidence starts to weaken a bit. You start to see some things tie up. So if we get more of that Chinese weakness, and if you get a little bit of Euro strength, maybe we'll finally see this market come back down and test these 38.2s. All right, so up until then, we will potentially just stay consolidated, stay volatile, all up in these structures. Notice here, nice little flat top. Actually, I like it a little bit, from a technical perspective. As a breakout trader, an old breakout trader, I used to be like, oh, take this breakout back up into structure. It's something we could see. It's something we could see, especially if Australia starts to gain a little strength and maybe we get some euro weakness. All right, so again, you have the contingency plays in play at the moment, but again, from a holistic point of view, looking out a month, 2 months, I would like to see this market start to sell off a bit. But when we're talking what's happening this week and next week, we really got to sit on our hands right now because I don't really have the trade. I need today to close. If today can close, maybe we can start putting on some size to hopefully start to see this market start to turn over a bit. Of course, it would have been great to start putting some sells in up here at this high. But if you don't think we'll get back up here at this high, then right now it's your job to start saying, okay, hey, maybe I'll put my stops above the structure, and this is my stop area, and then my actual take profit and my profiting area is down here at the 38.2, and if we break that 38.2, we can maybe roll back down here to that 61.8. All right, guys, that's what I'm looking at. I hope it's clear for you. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. There's not too many pairs that I have an eye on. 5 or 6 setups that are potential, nothing too pressing at the moment. All right. Again, if there was a pressing trade, it'd be something tied to that euro, maybe that euro CHF as a buy side move. All right. And potentially we need that US dollar to play itself out a bit. But eventually, when the US dollar plays itself out, we'll like to see what that euro USD looks like as a buy side move as well. Again, my directional bias for euro is long. My directional bias for this euro USD is long, back up in structure. But from a short-term time perspective, we could see markets start to roll over. All right. So I need that sell side scenario to potentially play itself out before I start looking at buys, because I don't want, if I can avoid some drawdown, okay, I will. Now, you can't always avoid drawdown. It sounds silly, but again, if you know that there are some pressing market fundamentals that might drive your currency sell side, let the shit play out, and then once that's all wrapped up, start executing on your general, medium, long-term trade perspective. Long-term for you could be 3 or 4 days. Long term for me could be 7 or 8 or 9 days. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about long term for myself. So long term is different, but break it down. Make sure you can maybe miss out on some of that extra volatility, and I think you'll start to see some slight improvements. Okay, guys, look, I'm going to be talking to you guys tomorrow. Let's see how consumer confidence plays out. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. All right, let me guys know if you need anything. Your profit, always my motive. Talk to you guys soon.